This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah, native file system, it's a distributed file system protocol that allows everybody to share remote directories over a network. So uh, how we can do that? It's like a file system which has already been shared in the network. We can, I mean, mounting to that, it's again the same thing. How we used to mount our normal hard disk, whatever is connected with the system. Here also we will do the similar kind of stuff. But yes, for that we need to install some utility. So yum install nfs-utils. Hmm. 20, what is the IP it's taking? 10190 to 144. Network setting seems to be correct. Let me give a try changing the network. What is the gateway? One 92, 168, 29.1. I'm able to ping it, which means internet. It's not reachable here, it seems. What is the settings it has for network? It's special up only. That's correct. Let me pause the recording first.
This conference will now be recorded.
We can see we don't have any package named as NFS client. So we'll go and search. NFS utils, I think. Mm,
Using NFS server, NFS-server.
server, I don't think we need server because server it's already running.
Okay, sir. But check one time.
No, server will install. What I need, I don't want to create a server here.
Sir, can you check
NFS.
the once firewall, sir? We have to allow the RPC band.
That is different thing, sir. Through firewall, why we need to allow something is if something is blocked. But right now we are not accessing whether that's blocked or not. We are trying to install simply a package from repository. Correct?
Sir, its name is NFS util of NFS utils.
It's installed. It's installed.
Package name.
Yeah, it's installed just now. There might be some error, some issue with that at that time, but it's installed right now. You can see that. Okay, so whatever you are doing, don't do just because Google is saying. Because if you will do and somebody get to know that you have done that and it's working good, but definitely you will be asked what you have done and why you have done. You need to justify with the reason. What you have done, you can justify, but why you have done, you need to justify that also. Okay, like previous menu itself, why you have enabled two Ethernet card. I'll need to figure it out. Like why I know what is the use of both two, but I'm not sure why it was not working for one. I'll check that one. But I need to tell why two and why it was not working for one. Just simply think about it like you have a laptop and in your laptop Your laptop does need 2 wires to work? No. It can work with 1 wire also. Or 1 wire is enough to work the internet. 1 wire or a Wi-Fi. Any single network is enough to work. So, okay, I'll look at that later. Like, what is the reason why that has happened? So, whatever you do, please make sure you have the explanation for that. That why. What you have changed, why you have changed, that it's started working, and what's wrong in the previous menu. What's wrong with the previous settings? For that, it was not working. Anyways, we'll proceed further. So generally, command used to be like, suppose my NFS client or NFS server is connected with an IP with 1010, or we can see any IP. So we might have seen that how we have copied a file over the network through SCP, correct? In that SCP, we have given source and then destination. Here also, mount also we used to give source and destination. Previously, in normal mount, how it used to be like /dev/sda 2 or 1 or anything, and then where I want to mount mnt/any directory, student or raid or anything, and it gets mounted there. Similarly, we'll do for this also, mount, then we'll have IP, and before IP we need to tell that what is the type of this. It's an NFS. Suppose our file share has been mounted in, sorry, not mounted in, okay, before mounting, let's create a directory itself, mkdir/mnt/nfs_mount. Now I want to mount, so the argument is -t space/nfs/ space the source. What is my source? Let's say an IP in your network which is giving you NFS. So to that 192.168.1. Let's say 44, and then slash mount space. This is the source. So this source you will have been given, like what is the IP and what is the folder you're supposed to mount. Okay, and then destination mnt/nfs mount, and if you hit enter, it will mount whatever is here, whatever is there in that particular NFS here. But here it will not work because we don't have anything in the network currently. It's trying to mount, but it will not go through. It will throw error after some point of time because we don't have anything in the network. Yes, somebody, I think Komal, you are the one who was mentioning about that we need to enable through the firewall, correct?
Yes, sir, we have to enable in the system CTL also and firewalls also, sir.
Hmm.
Both.
I'll come back to the firewall. I will tell why firewall is coming to the picture. And what about system CTL? Why it was required system CTL?
Sir, we have to check the active and enable the services, sir, NFS services.
What is the use of it, sir?
Sir, it then act, the NFS service, it is an active or inactive. We have to know that, sir. We have to inactivate means we have to activate that NFS server, sir.
Server.
Yes, sir.
So NFS-server is the daemon name of NFS. That's why we should start and
Then
stop
one of
it.
the daemon to allow the network file system, sir.
NFS-server is required where we are running NFS server. Correct?
It will run in the system CTL.
Again, you are doing the same thing. You don't know what you are doing, but actually you wanted to do something. What I'm trying to say is NFS server. Okay. You remember that I have in first time when I was making everybody to understand that how SSH works. Remember everyone that which package I have installed at first time. I have installed SSH-server, not SSH-client. SSH-client is already installed. Server I wanted to be get installed in this CentOS so that I can log in this server and I can access this machine. And from where I wanted to access only from the client. This putty is the client actually. And suppose if I wanted to access from another terminal or another Linux machine, I will need not to require to install anything at all. Just simply SSH-client is enough. In one system, SSH-client is enough, but in another system, if I wanted to access, then that server should be running there. So similar thing I'm saying here also. If I have a box which has a running NFS server, so to access that box, I just need NFS utils. I don't need NFS server. If I want my box as well to make an NFS server, then definitely I need NFS server. NFS server utility here. I need to install NFS server. I need to configure that. And I need to allow that using firewall also. So what you have understood, Komal and Bhaskar Reddy, might be that how to create an NFS server into your system. That's what all the steps you guys are explaining actually. You guys are going through. But here, I'm not trying to explain how to create. I'm trying to say that how to access that NFS server, which already has been created in a network by somebody. Got the difference here?
Yes, sir. Okay, sir.
Hmm. So whatever you are saying, it's correct. But that's correct in the context of when you're trying to make an NFS server. Okay, I'll give you another example as well. Not a problem. FTP server. Similar to NFS server, there is something called FTP server. Okay. So suppose if I wanted to create an FTP server in my once again, FTP server is what? FTP server is a file transfer protocol, and through that we used to transfer the files. So if I want to make my server as an FTP server, then definitely I need to install here. Hmm. You can see FTP, the standard Unix FTP file transfer protocol client. It's not server. Why client is needed? To access the server. But if you want to create a server, first of all, you need to have a server utility server module, not the client module. You can see that FTP, TFTP server. So the secure and easy way for enabling the FTP is VSFTPD, very secure FTP daemon, which is preferred right now. Hmm. So I've installed the daemon and I've installed the sysv init script, which is going to run the VSFTPD daemon at the starting itself. Yeah, the systemctl part, whatever you were saying, that is coming here right now. Is if you want, yeah, I can explain again the same thing in the same context which I was explaining before. Is Komal, you were saying that we will be able to we might need to do something in systemctl, correct? So
No, sir, it's not me.
so
It's another guy.
oh, sorry, Reddy then probably. Yeah, so let me explain a little bit there as well. Whenever you are creating a server somewhere, after creating server, you will need to add, or you will need to make that server up and running whenever your system is rebooted. So for that, we will need to add that particular services to the startup. Like whenever system starts, that itself should be get started. So there are several ways I have explained in previous previous lectures that how we can do that. There is a way that we need to edit in rc.local. That's one thing. Like we can install all the time whenever system starts. We can start that particular daemon all the time whenever system starts. Another way we can do that is init.d script or systemv script. Through systemctl, we can enable and we can start it. But that was for the case when we are trying to create an NFS file system in our server. and all those things are not required whenever you are trying to access that NFS file system. Okay, let me give a simple example. For accessing money from the bank, is it required that you need to have a bank itself? No, only account is more than enough to go and get the money from the bank or to utilize the bank. You can utilize in several ways, but you need not to have your own bank to access the other banks. Similar way, you need not to have the server. Server is not required at all to access the other servers. You can have client, and through client itself is meant for accessing the servers. That's what the meaning of that. Okay, so the way I have installed VSFTPD, it has installed two things. One is VSFTPD daemon, which is supposed to be a VSFTPD server, I can say, and just when it is script, it's an init script which is going to get added to restart it whenever system starts. So hmm. Okay, we'll move ahead on this server and client part. So like that, whatever I have shown, we can add that NFS share. Sorry, we can initialize that NFS share. And if you want your system to be mounted all the time, whenever your NFS server is coming up at that time, if you want to do something like that, then you need to add your settings, whatever the mount, this command, you might need to add in FS tab. That hey, I wanted to mount this folder from source and what is the type and what is the destination. So all this information you might need to add in FS tab so that whenever your system boots up, whenever your system restarts, it just gives you an IP. Sorry, it just mount the particular NFS server in that particular directory. You are not required to do all the time again and again. So that you can do. And I think that's it for NFS, accessing the NFS, I think. And okay, let me explain one more thing is how we can do the automated installation. Let me share one particular command, not command, there's a link. I shared the link, everybody can go through link, may not be now, but later. Okay, I'm also opening the same link. And which tells me that how the installation works. Or sometimes you might need not to access, you might need not to give all the arguments every time. So what happens is, like, you know what is the system your organization follows, what they want, how they want. I mean, the standard way I'm talking about. Like suppose your organization, wherever you're working, they permits you or they give you a default setting that root file system should be of 20 GB of file or 30 GB of file by default. You cannot exceed more than that, and username should be this one, password for this one, password should be this one default, and several things like time, keyboard, and all settings. Everything we can define, and whenever it is required, it will take from the file. So the file, it's uh, called as kickstart file actually. In that file, we used to mention all the things, and that's a configuration file actually. And in that, we whenever after that we do using GUI. I think GUI. Mm, they did not give the GUI. Let me check what they have given. Mm, how this is done. They're mounting all the ISO to a folder, then creating a folder, then copying that, mounting ISO file, remove the ISO file. Yeah, how to get this one? There has to be something. No, not interactive. I want automation. Hmm. There used to be a GUI actually. Online GUI itself to create that. Yeah, I think this one. Yes. Yeah. So this is the application actually. You might need to create your account. I'm using someone else's account to log in, and you can see that these are all the things which has been asked whenever we install either CentOS or RHEL. So all these things we will give, like what root password we wanted to give. Let me, Bhaskar Reddy, what you are trying to say, that I think both mode means, in which context you are trying to say? And what you are trying to say here?
It's in graphical interface mode, sir, and command mode, I think, sir. Both it will be
Yeah.
access.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yes. But why I was searching for this is it will be easy for you, everybody, to understand what it is doing. And through command mode, it will be a bit tough. Okay. So that's why, and this interface is available. So why not to explore this? So you can enable all these settings according to your requirement, like language if you want to change, keyboard you want to change, and the architecture if you want to change of your virtual machine, and what is your installation source, how you want it to do. Then clear master MBR. In partition, we delete all the things, utilize the disk, and grub password. Everybody knows what is called grub here, correct? I hope everybody is familiar what is called grub. So sometimes what happens is we don't want user to have access of grub as well. So for that also we need to set up the password. So that we can set up here. Packages, what are all packages? Oh, it's just an architecture. Yeah, here what all package we wanted. We have installed a minimal install, correct? During our installation. So if you do server with GUI, you will have server and you will have GUI as well. So similarly, if you wanted to choose only server, it will do from here. Custom operating system, it might give you further, maybe, yeah, it's giving you packages, what you want to install, what you don't want to install. Similarly, virtualization, it will give you more packages related to virtualization. Okay, so we can go ahead with our minimum install requirement. And suppose, okay, we will see that. This is the password, password way how you wanted to authenticate them. So shadow password is like you are required to enter the password there. Fingerprint reader, everybody knows that fingerprint reader, what is called, and through that we can access. Enable NIS, it's again a network enabled authentication, and LDAP, it's directory directory based authentication, which is required sometimes you to log in through. Kerberos 5 is like it's all authentication, different authentication will have their own pros and cons. Kerberos is like it's just take a key from the server and save it in your system whenever you try to log in through the Kerberos, and it seeks server to respond through your particular key. Some SMB authentication, it's a Samba authentication. The way we work with in Windows, like Samba Share or something like that, and this authentication works again in the same way. Cache domain authentication, so it's again a different type of authentication method. Generally, we use shadow password. So, and here we wanted to set the on network at DHCP. And firewall, what are all things you wanted to enable in the firewall? FTP, SMTP, SSH, HTTP. I want all the things to be enabled whenever virtual machine comes up. So I will enable all these. If you want to allow other ports, you can mention here that ports. Also install a graphic environment. I'm not sure what is this. Okay. Pre-installation scripts is like if you wanted to install, I mean, before installing all the things, if you wanted to run your custom command, something, some extra things which is not mentioned here, then that you can define it here. And after installation also, if you want to run something, you can define it here. And after defining, I think that should be enough. Let me minimize this window. It's not minimizing. Yeah, we can click on this download button. Download button, everybody is able to see. If I download, it just downloads a file. Kickstart.cfg, and which will have all the text information. which are all things we have mentioned here through the GUI. Okay, so this is the basic installation steps which we can give to this configuration file, and after this, what this is going to do, okay, configuration file was not visible to everybody. Let me share it back again. So this is the configuration file which we have downloaded it through the download button, and this is going to do all the work for us. And when we keep this file, we'll proceed further how and where to keep this file actually. Hmm. So through that kickstart generator GUI, we will have this file. Where is that kickstart file? Yeah, this file. So I'll go once again, start from the starting. What we were trying to achieve is, what are all things we have been doing through manual installation. We want to achieve everything by automation. We don't want to do all the inputs. We don't want to give all the inputs manually. We want everything to happen automatically. So for that, we need, what are all things we have done? The key concept is we need to have a config file. We can write it down, we can make the changes, or we can generate it through the GUI generator, through the link, whatever I have shared. And after generating, what to do with that configuration file? Here we can see. So we'll have an ISO. What we are going to do is we are going to keep our configuration file, whatever we have created, in that ISO at a particular place, and once again create a new ISO, and then we'll install from there. That's what it says. So we are going to mount in MNT directory, and we'll create a directory and rel install. I need to see what this command is and what it does actually. And CP, they're copying everything from the MNT to /root/rel install. So it's like whatever was having in ISO, it has been mounted to MNT, and after getting mounted, we are copying everything from MNT directory to rel-install directory. So it's like we are copying all the ISO content from MNT directory to root/rel install. And after that, we have unmounted the MNT. It means like we have removed the ISO, whatever we have mounted. And after removing, we are copying our CFG file, config file, whatever we have created to this directory, root rel-install directory. And in that, they asked us if we have any subscription, that also we can attach. And after installation, after attaching the subscription, we once again need to create a DVD. So for that, we need to run this command. Creating should be below. Yeah, MKSFS creating, it's happening here. So it's just to name, just to see the name of the DVD volume. This will give us like what was the name of the DVD, so that we can maintain the same name actually. Add a new menu entry to boot. Okay. So the new menu entry to boot means like so that we can identify that this menu entry. Okay, this menu entry is referring whenever we have a grub, and after when we start a new operating system, at that first time it gives us a grub, and in that we have two menu entry where I have changed the name. I hope everybody remembers that. So it's trying to add something, or I will not say something here. It's trying to add a menu entry for that automated installation, so that we can understand that, hey, if I'm going to click on this menu, or probably the first option, it's going to give me whatever automated installation through that we have done. It's going to give me the operating system from that. So this was the thing they are adding. And okay, let me explain. This is init.rd image, and NST stage 2 HD label. They are giving the label for that particular server, whatever they have got from that above, and they are giving the location file of the what to say, of the Anaconda config file, so that okay, let me tell here again. You see that whenever this system starts, whenever system starts, grub is going to come. Yes, and this same grub, I'll not say that the same grub, it means that this edited grub, but yes, similar kind of grub is also going to come before the installation as well. So here what we are trying to say is we boot from the grub, and when
Sir,
the
I have
Linux system.
one doubt.
Okay, go ahead.
After the installation of CentOS in my virtual machine, I have two grubs, sir. How it's possible, sir? It's come two grub I have.
I
But
can add one more grub.
But I can use the two grub also, sir. Can I delete one grub?
It's just a menu entry. It's not actually a grub. I mean,
Okay, sir.
in grub, it's just a menu entry. This Vasuprada CentOS, this is also going to give me boot the operating system with one set of arguments, and this below, second one, this is also going to boot the same everything with some different set of arguments. Let me show you here. You can see ins mode, it's going to ins mode gzio, part ms-dos, xfs. These three ins mode, I've told you what it is for. I've told everybody ins mode is to load the module. So it's going to load the module gzio, part ms-dos, xfs, all these things. And after that, it is going to mount this file system. You can see the UUID name actually, and FS file system UUID, you can see that. And Linux kernel and VM Linux, it's all going to load from here. And root file system, from where it has to get, you can see that root equals to slash mapper slash CentOS hyphen root. Read only crash kernel auto. So probably read only crash kernel is equals to auto. This can be an extra added arguments which you may not be able to find in your regular menu entry, or menu entry. So you can add one more menu entry. You can modify or add some extra stuff in that. and save that entry. Okay, let me give you a problem. Let me state a problem, and so that you can understand better what it is for. Now you might have heard, or maybe if you Google it, you will be able to hear it more, that now only NVIDIA has open sourced the code of the GPU drivers graphics. Before that, it was not open, and hence, sometime what happens is whenever whatever motherboard is having inbuilt NVIDIA graphics card, whenever if you are going to reboot the system, or if you are going to your install your Linux on that system, what it will tell is when you reboot, it will not give you a GUI. It used to be get stuck. So the solution for that is you need to blacklist your NVIDIA driver so that it doesn't stop, or it doesn't hang your GUI. So how to do that? There are several methods. We can do through a file. We can do from here also. In this, at the end, we can mention something. You can Google it, like how to block a driver from Grub. At that time, you can get an option how to stop loading a particular module whenever your system boots up. And all this entry you can fabricate, and I mean you can copy it, and you can make one more entry, and you can paste in that grub.cfg file, and hence you can create a third entry as well. Okay, I'll give you an example how I can create a third entry. So at that time it will be very much clear that how you can utilize the grub. Okay, system comes up. I will give you another example also, not example. vi etc modules. Here I can blacklist. I can create a file, and I can give blacklist space XYZ, any driver name here I can give. And if I save, sorry, I have not loaded through the root. XYZ driver name, and I've closed it. After closing, when I reboot the system, it's not going to load that particular driver. That's the use of this particular folder. Okay, and we can say that if we want some driver to be get loaded, we can add that particular driver to be loaded from this file as well. So this is one use case of this blacklist file. Okay, let me come back to the grub. etc sorry boot grub.cfg. okay, here itself grub. Okay. Grub.cfg. So I'll edit it very carefully, because if you mess this, you will not you will not get your system again. So please do whatever you wanted to do. but do it very carefully. Okay, so I'll start the menu entry from here, and I will copy and I will paste that just here. Vasuprada custom arguments. Okay, I have given the name here, and this is the third. If you want to add or subtract anything, you can do it here, whatever you think you can do. And I'm just closing it, and I'm just going to reboot it. You can see that the third one is coming here, custom arguments. So
Yes,
this
sir.
is not, yeah, so this is not 3 grubs, this is not 2 grub. Grub is only one here, and in that grub we have given 3 arguments, 3 different arguments to boot the system with different with different set of arguments. So I can turn it on by enabling the third also. So before that, what I was explaining, I missed it out. Can somebody remind me what I was explaining before coming back to this grub?
Kickstart auto installation.
Okay, yeah, got it. Thank you. So in that kickstart, we were having, we have seen these 2 grubs. So the similar kind of grub comes when we install any operating system also. So in the grub itself, we have seen that what we are going to load, what we are not going to load, how we are going to load, we can define all the things. So at the same time, we are giving our kickstart file also to load whenever the system starts installation. Let me repeat. Whenever our system starts installation, we wanted CFG file, or sorry, KFG file to be get kickstart the configuration file to be get loaded. So for that, we give that file name. We can see that anaconda slash -ks.cfg. This is the location we give. Okay. So we modified that config file, and after modifying the config file, what it is doing, before you create ISO from the working directory, execute the following step for the ESP UEFI boot or for a CD-ROM UEFI boot. EFI boot.image, okay, mounted after that. Okay, through the EFI boot also, they are trying to modify the same grub.cfg file. They are trying to add that same thing, I think. Yeah, this anaconda-ks. So they are modifying this again, and after modifying the UEFI boot, they are going to add the new menu entry the way we have added just now. After getting added, we are supposed to create the ISO file. So for that, this is the command mkisofs, and this is the name of the ISO, and remaining argument is going to be the same probably. Yeah, EFI boot.img, you need to give what we have created. rel-ks.iso is the output. This is the output, sorry, not the previous one. This is the output. What was that? That was the name actually, I think. Just the name of that particular ISO. So, okay. So this is the command which will give you the output of the DVD with what are all you have ingredients prepared and kept it in your folder. So this is the command which will give you the output. And by using this command, they are making that ISO bootable. And you can install that bootable ISO in your USB media, and you can make your USB media bootable. And after booting from, suppose if you are going to plug in that USB media in any of the system, and if things comes up, you will have all the installation automatically going on. You are not required to do anything at all. Okay, so everybody is going to try this, and if you face any issues, you can mail me, and probably some of the people might have got the resolution when they have mailed me. I think one person, or I'm not sure if yeah, I think everybody has got the resolution. 3-4 people has contacted me yesterday and day before yesterday, even in weekends also, and they have got the reply. So similarly, if you are facing some issues and you want to get some reply, please write down a mail, add something in subject line. I will reply back. So this is how to make an automatic installation. So please note down all these two web pages and try it out at your space whenever you have time, because this is a requirement for a Linux admin as well to know and to do it. Because being a Linux admin, you might need to install the same operating system with the same configuration in several location, several systems, multiple times. So you're not going to do all the things by your bare hands again and again. So for that, you need to have this one. Yeah, anybody has any doubt?
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir, tell me.
Sir, apart from the subject, I have one doubt, sir.
Tell me.
Sir, I am completed the BTech in 2022, sir. You are hearing the 2021, sir. I am just attending the classes, sir. I am not sent any documents also, sir.
Can you come again? You haven't sent any document. It means like I'm not sending you a document, or you're not sending document to the smart brains, or how? I didn't
Sir,
get your question.
I am not sent any documents for the smart brain, sir.
So
I
you are
am in
not registered
2022
anything?
output, sir.
What is that?
I am 2022 output guy, sir.
That's
In
okay,
Excel,
but
they are hearing only in 2017 to 2021, sir. They are told, sir. That's why simply I am attending the classes, sir.
that's okay. That's okay. You are attending the class. That's not a problem. But the thing is,
Yes, sir.
if your documents are uploaded, you are registered with smart brains or not? That's my question.
No, sir. I have not uploaded my documents, sir.
Okay. And you are updating your attendance or not in the attendance sheet?
No, sir. I don't know about that data, sir. No idea about that.
Okay.
That's
Let
why
me
I
get back to you.
am asking with you, sir. It's an NG for eligible for this or not? That's why I'm asking with you, sir.
No, that question probably Beneath sir or somebody from the team can confirm actually.
Yeah, already I am trying to call and sir. He not able to lift my call, sir. That's why I'm asking directly in class only, sir.
Just 1 second. Let me share the link first for the attendance. So everybody is still facing the same issues what they were facing, that they are not able to update the documents and all.
Yes, sir, the student registration portal is not able to
That is
access.
still not working. I told you that it might work in evening, so it didn't work, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, let me speak right away to the people and then I will come back with any update. Give me a few minutes. I'll speak up and then come back. Nobody's getting any attendance list. What does that mean? It's giving the Linux attendance. Name, email ID, contact number it's asking for, isn't it? When you click on that link, whatever I have provided, it will give you a form. You need to fill the form. Let me stop the recording here.